Hello, this is Linda Vettrus-Nichols, and I have with me the most amazing person, Dorie Silverman. Welcome, Dorie.
Thank you for having me, Linda. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Oh, this is like such a favorite subject of mine. I usually use the word fun over pleasure, and I love the word pleasure too. And so pleasure is the word that you teach from, and I would love you to share more about what does that word mean to you and how you've seen it expressed in your work and even for your clients.
Yes. Pleasure to me is it is an awareness of when I'm enjoying something, to really start to tune into how do I know that I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
You know, what are the sensations in my body? What are the things that I'm feeling and thinking and sensing within me? What are the impulses that I have? What are the images that and what are the emotions that come up, so that I can really, from a place of my senses, really start to almost like memorize it, you know, like really like remember, like, oh, when my skin tingles, I know that that is that what's happening right now is enjoy.
Nice.
Or when so there's just like these different ways we can start to track ourselves.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What was the first time you kind of tapped into that for yourself? That was a great example. Do you kind of have a first, where that became that huge aha for you? Or a client example too? Big aha moment for you or a client?
The tingly thing has been a really big one for me. And also another thing, this is related to pleasure, but not exactly, but it's more just like, the ways in which our body, our senses are telling us that they're giving us messages that something is true for us, or something's real for us, or it's kind of like, that intuitive sense, or that inner knowing. We are made of senses. So to know what those signs are from your body. And so another one that's just coming to mind right now is when I'm talking, like when I'm teaching or when I'm working with a client, if I start to cry, it is my body telling me, like, this is truth. This is the truth. You are at like the essence of things.
Yes, yes.
And crying can mean a lot of things, but those moments, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I make the connection.
Yeah.
And then all that stuff that can go along with crying, that can make people feel like guilty or bad or shameful, or like, be crying right now, or I'm going to make someone uncomfortable. It's like gone, because I'm like, oh no, this is my body just telling me that this is what's real.
That's so interesting. And for me, it's spiritual truth. And so like, I barely cry at movies, but if I'm in a church setting and something's being said, that's spiritual truth, that's like throughout all major religions of the world, like you cannot deny it, like gravity, hey, it just happens, Spiritual truth is what connects all of us as well. And spiritual truth, it can be felt, deep in you, at the level of your soul, if you will. So that's interesting, and that's when I cry. And I had a gymnastics accident in high school, and there was like all kinds of things. My father dying from suicide, like in August, and then had the gymnastics accident, maybe like 5 months later, and all this stuff. And I was at the I was at a restaurant watching a girl who had a walking cast, but they didn't want her to put much on it, so she kind of, she was hobbling along. And I'm so visceral that like everything probably from the breast area to the pubic area just went like that, like that sensation of like when you feel guilty almost, like who I've been caught almost. It was like this, and it's like, okay, I'm going to take my eyes off of her.
Totally. I get that too.
Got more work to do in that area maybe, but wow, that's a hard one, isn't it? It just comes out of nowhere. Blink.
Totally. But it's like, we're so used to focusing our energy on what is hard or we have to get done for the day or what needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Or what we're planning, right? So there's just like a lot of work energy that goes into how like that those are the neural pathways that we are continuing to strengthen and build.
Mm-hmm.
And evolutionarily, they're already actually there more naturally than the ones that are connected more to enjoyment and pleasure. And so a lot of the work in building the strength to be resilient in this world and to enjoy things is to learn how to really start to soak in, and that marinate in it that we're looking at right now. I keep drawing to that word. It's like, when we really feel into what's happening when you're enjoying something from a sensual level, you're starting to let your tissue really learn that feeling of like, oh, my shoulders are relaxing. So now I know I'm more at ease and I feel safe. And I'm just going to feel that a little bit longer and let my tissues and my brain and my nervous system really know that, build those connections.
Yeah, when things aren't going well, pleasure always re-regulates us. Taking that break and blah, blah, blah. So yes, and I love your word marinate. My mom used to make the best marinated steak. Marinating is just,
I love it.
That's an important word, concept, whatever. So when you find your pleasure, then marinate in it. And then as you marinate in it, you're kind of tapping into some of the sensual experiences of it, right, Dorie?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's how you do it. It's like waking our senses back up, because with our current lifestyle where we're inside all the time, where we're staring at screens, we don't have a lot of the more sensual experiences. And it's part of what creates so much anxiety in our bodies, because our bodies are like hungry. They're like, why, they like, our skin wants to feel the air on it. Our eyes want to see close and far and to experience texture and color and movement, and our ears. And just so it's like, how can we start to really wake those things up, build our pleasure muscle, or work that pleasure principle. Thank you, Janet Jackson. And start to really develop those the skills to go there with greater ease when we're stressed out, or also just to enjoy our lives more, which is like our birthright, right? It's our birthright is I
was gonna say, and pleasure without guilt. Like some people say, guilty pleasure. It's like,
right, totally.
Can you do pleasure without feeling guilty, right?
Yeah, and that's such a huge, totally. It's like, and I just think of it as like, it's a very female, and I'm sure some men are challenged with this too, but it's like, I feel like it's part of our experience as women is how do we receive, when are we receiving? How are we receiving?
Bother to receive.
What's that?
Do we bother to receive?
Right. And that requires like a certain amount of slowing down, right? Yeah. Just kind of slowing our pace so we can start to tune in to what's below our head. So we live pretty much like up here.
Yeah, man.
And what's happening?
Yeah, and Dorie, you love women who run with the wolves like I do. And one of the stories in there is kind of the idea, the concept of the river beneath the river. And so a woman's life, this is my translation, a woman's life can be total crap. If she keeps the river beneath the river clean, so to speak, and healthy, then she will live. But if she does not tend to the river beneath the river, which is pleasure and creativity and all that, and having fun and making her own freedom, even though in her life she might not be free, if she's not tending to the river beneath the river, she will actually physically die. She might feel like she's dying in the life that she has without the river beneath the river flowing and being healthy, you know, there's a thing for suicide right there.
Totally. I mean, that's where our life energy is. That's where our vitality is. That's where our like zhuzh, like our va va voom is in our senses and in our ability to marinate in those sensual experiences.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Dorie. This has been so great.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. And best way to get a hold of you, you have a Facebook group. What the name of your group again?
Yeah, join us at Vibrant Vixen Vortex. It's a sacred sisterhood, and we'd love to have you there.
Yeah, I joined. I love it. Okay, thanks again, Dorie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.